Welcome to Timeless Words. In today's story, we'll discover how understanding your strengths and following your passion can lead you to success. Once there was a boy named David who felt sad because his friend Matt was great at math, while he struggled. His father gave him 3 lessons. First, everyone has different strengths. David was great at soccer, Matt at math. Second, Matt practiced every day. That's why he improved. And third, when David tried to study math 3 times harder, he realized how tough it is to master something you don't enjoy. His father said, either do what you love or learn to love what you do. And that changed David's life forever. So remember, practice what you love and success will follow.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Timeless Words. Today we have a beautiful story about discovering your strengths, practicing with dedication and learning to love what you do. This story will remind you that each one of us has unique talents, and when we focus on our strengths we can achieve amazing things. And as always, while listening, you'll also learn some new English words and how to use them in sentences, in a fun and simple way. So stay with us till the end. Let's begin our story. Once upon a time in a quiet and peaceful town, there lived a small family in a cozy corner of the city. In that family was a 12-year-old boy named David, who studied in the 6th grade. David was full of energy. He loved being outdoors playing with his friends, and his absolute favorite activity was soccer. Almost every afternoon after finishing his homework, David would grab his soccer ball and rush to the nearby public field. There he would play for hours, practicing new moves, running faster and improving his kicks, without even realizing how much he was learning. One afternoon after coming home from school, David looked more serious than usual. He dropped his school bag on the floor, threw himself onto the couch and stared at one of his books. He flipped through a few pages, sighed and leaned back with a frustrated expression. His father, who had just come in from the backyard, noticed something wasn't right. He walked over and sat beside him. "What's wrong, David?" he asked gently. David hesitated for a moment and said softly, "Dad, I got a really bad grade in math today, and I tried so hard." His father nodded, waiting for him to continue. David added, "What really makes me upset is that my friend Matt always gets perfect scores. No matter how hard I study, I can never do as well as him." His father smiled slightly, went to get a glass of water and handed it to his son. "Take a sip," he said calmly. "I think what happened today can teach you something very important." After David had relaxed a little, his father took him outside to their small backyard garden. The garden was quiet, filled with shady trees, soft green grass, and the sound of birds in the distance. "David," his father began, "I want to teach you 3 lessons from what happened today. These lessons will help you as you grow older." David looked curious. "3 lessons?" he asked. "Yes," his father said with a smile. "But you'll learn them through small challenges." David's eyes brightened. He always loved challenges. "For your first lesson," his father said, "I want you to invite your friend Matt to play soccer with you tomorrow." David nodded, wondering what his father was planning. The next morning the sun was shining and the weather was perfect. At school, David asked Matt, "Hey, want to play soccer with me after school?" Matt smiled and agreed. That afternoon they met at the field with a few other kids. As soon as the game started, David was unstoppable, running fast, controlling the ball perfectly and scoring goal after goal. Matt, on the other hand, struggled. He often missed the ball or lost it to other players. But in the end, everyone had fun. After the game, David hurried home and found his father in the backyard. "Dad, we played soccer today and I won. I even scored 3 goals." His father smiled knowingly. "So, how did Matt play?" David chuckled. "Well, he wasn't very good. He kept missing the ball." His father nodded and said, "See, David? Matt may not be good at soccer, but he's excellent at math. Just like you're great at soccer but not at math." He looked at David and added, "We all have different strengths and passions. And that's perfectly fine. The world would be boring if everyone was good at the same thing." David thought for a moment and smiled. He finally understood what his father meant. Everyone shines in their own way. The next day his father gave him another task. "For the second lesson," he said, I want you to quietly observe Matt at school tomorrow. Notice what he does with numbers or math." David agreed. All day long he watched Matt, not in a creepy way but with curiosity. He noticed that Matt was always counting something, solving problems, helping classmates with sums, and even calculating change at the school canteen. During recess he saw Matt counting flower petals for fun. That evening David went home excited to share what he saw. "Dad," he said, "Matt was doing math all day. He was solving problems, doing puzzles, and even counting random things for fun." His father smiled warmly and said, "That's the second lesson, David. Matt is good at math because he enjoys it, and he practices it every single day. If you want to improve at something, you need to practice it often. It doesn't have to be hard, just regular." David thought about his soccer practice. He played every day, no wonder he was good at it. He realized that learning was the same. Consistency makes you grow. The next evening, David asked eagerly, "Dad, what's the third lesson?" His father smiled and said, "Think about it, David. How much better is Matt at math than you?" David thought for a moment. Maybe 3 times better." "All right," said his father. "Then tomorrow I want you to study math 3 times harder than usual." David gulped but agreed. The next day after school he sat down with determination. He studied for 1 hour, then 2, then 3. But after a while his head started to ache and he slowly fell asleep at his desk. Later that evening his father gently woke him. "Wake up, David. It's dinner time," he said softly. David looked embarrassed. "I'm sorry, Dad. I tried so hard but I fell asleep. My head hurt so much." His father smiled kindly and patted his shoulder. "Don't be sorry, son. That's the final lesson. When you try to master something you don't enjoy, it feels heavy and exhausting. But when you love what you do, discipline feels easy, just like soccer for you." He paused and added, "So if you want to become truly great at something, either study what you love, or learn to love what you're studying." David nodded slowly. Those words touched his heart deeply. From that day on, David stopped comparing himself to others. He worked on his math bit by bit and continued practicing soccer with joy. He understood that success isn't about being the best in everything. It's about being your best at something you love. And those 3 lessons stayed with him forever. So, what did we learn today? We learned that everyone has different strengths. That practice makes you better. And that loving what you do makes everything easier. And just like David, you can improve your English the same way, by practicing a little every day and enjoying the process. If you like this story, make sure to like, comment, and share how it helped you learn something new today. Thank you for watching.